Hey everyone, it's Aurelius. Today I want to share a story that's been a pivotal chapter in my entrepreneurial and business journey. It's about how I lost my primary payment processor and the lessons learned along the way. A portion of this video is sponsored by Omnisend, a powerful all-in-one email marketing platform built to help you drive more sales with less effort. More on them later in this video. Now, if you're new here and unaware of who I am, I've been running an online business for over 15 years, back in the heydays of kind of like online business, online marketing, back before, Instagram, TikTok, and a lot of these social media platforms. Back then, we used to call it Web 2.0, which was kind of like MySpace and a few others. But other than that, there was nothing around. So this was kind of like the Wild Wild West back in the day. Now, I lost I won't say the payment processor in this video, but one morning I woke up to an email that pretty much made my heart sink. And it was an email from the payment processor saying that my account is suspended effective immediately. And it wasn't just a temporary hold where it's like, oh yeah, just provide a few more details to identify yourself, make sure it's definitely your account, there's no suspicious activity. No, it wasn't anything like that. So no warnings, no clear reasoning. And just like that, my primary source of income was gone. I felt like a wave of panic and disbelief, to say the least. It's a business that I've been building since 2005 from the ground up, and suddenly it felt like everything was gone down the drain. It was crumbling. So I spent days reaching out to support and customer assistance. I remember on that day, I was in the car with my wife. I decided to park on the side of the street and just talk about this situation and the seriousness of it. My wife and I thought this is like the end of it, right? Because I put all my eggs in one basket, I thought maybe let's just file for bankruptcy. That was how bad it was. But we sprung into action and we thought we've just got to turn things around, take this as kind of a big lesson and takeaway that we shouldn't put all our eggs in one basket, but instead diversify a little. But we'll get onto that later in this video. So with new hope and clarity, I would say, for the lack of a better term, I spent days reaching out to customer support and hoping for an answer. But unfortunately, with each call and each email, it simply led to the same dead end. It was a helpless feeling, really. What made it even baffling and harder to understand is that I had that payment processor account, the same one, for over 15 years, in good standing, good reputation, no issues with any customers and disputes of any sort. So I was quite confused, and I was just asking myself, why me and why now? Because I didn't get any answers from them, I had to act fast and keep my business alive. This was the moment I turned to my email list. Thankfully, I'd been building a list since day one. And when I say a list, that is a list of email subscribers. So what I did was I wrote up an email, spent a day probably writing it and just explaining the situation that I was in, and I sent it away, not knowing what to expect. Basically, the email stated what had happened and what action they can take from this point forward. And what it said and what I provided was a new link, a new checkout page where they can subscribe again to my membership, my then membership. Thankfully, with their support and understanding, not only was I able to bounce back to kind of where I was, I'd say about 80% of what that membership site was making. I was able to get back on my feet, but it also reinforced the importance of diversification. To this day, I'm just so grateful that those customers were able to take action and subscribe again as I was continuing on with that membership site. And yes, it was only because I had that email list, which was a direct line to my community and audience, that I was able to bounce back. Now, I obviously learned the hard way of losing pretty much everything overnight, except for my email list. And that's something I want to touch on in this video. Even if you're just starting out and have no audience, I would urge you to start from day one. Have that newsletter or that opt-in form up and ready wherever you are posting content, let's say on social media, on Instagram, for instance. You've got the link in bio. You want to make sure you put the link to the newsletter. and where you provide more details. It could be a weekly newsletter, it could be a freebie, like a free ebook or a guide or a checklist or a cheat sheet, whatever you want to provide, as long as you start collecting subscribers. Now, the way to do it, more specifically, the platform and the tool to use to start collecting subscribers and putting that landing page so that you can start collecting email subscribers, is an email marketing service. The one that I specifically use is called Omnisend. As an example, when you start building your email list, you can announce your latest video, like what I have done here. I wrote up an email like this one here and gave clear calls to action so that they can start watching the video. And this gives a great boost of views to your new content. The other obvious use case of an email list is if you want to sell your products and services. Let's say you have a new product that you want to launch, you can send your email right away to your database of 1,000 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers, or however many subscribers you end up building. And then instantly you will get sales to your products. Getting started is pretty straightforward. With Omnisend specifically, if you use the link in the description box below, you'll end up on this page, and this gives you 30% off for the first 3 months using this specific code. The great thing about Omnisend is that you can get started for free and not pay a single dollar for up to 250 contacts. So you can start building your list, and then once you exceed 250 subscribers, that's when you move on to an actual paid plan. So with the free plan, you do get access to all of the features and with the marketing automations, as you can see. But once you've signed up for your free Omnisend account, you can start sending your newsletters, start building your contacts. And one specific thing I want to mention is creating forms. So to get started, really, you just need a form. So if you go to forms, click on create form, you can choose from a number of pre-made forms. When you scroll down, you can see some of the layouts and how they look. If you're happy with one that suits your website, your offer, then click on it. And then you're free to design your opt-in form with the copy and different items, elements, and layouts that you can choose from. Sending out your newsletters is quite straightforward too. Simply head to campaigns and create a new campaign. And then you'll find a list of professional and attractive emails that you can choose from and start editing. Once you've sent out your email, you can check your stats, how many was sent, the open rates, the click rate, and a pretty insightful tool is called ClickMap, where you can see the percentage of people clicking on specific calls to action and the text links, which you can then use to improve future emails. I'm not going to go through the full features of Omnisend since I've already created a full step-by-step guide, which you can view in the link in the description box below. But what I want to bring home is the importance of not putting your eggs in one basket. You don't want to rely heavily on, let's say, Instagram only or YouTube only, or that single payment processor like what I was doing. As you saw, I learned the hard way, and I've learned from that point forward. I now don't just rely on that one payment processor or that one income stream. I'm making money through YouTube and Google AdSense, sponsorships, brand deals, affiliate marketing, and of course, my own digital products. At the end of the day, what's important is building resilience into your business model. You want to safeguard yourself, your livelihood from instances like this so that you're not in a state of chaos, anxiety, and stress and panic. So my best advice and an action for you to take today is start building an email list. Even if you think you're not ready or if you're just starting out online, I urge you to get started. Start with an email marketing platform of your choice. I personally use, as you saw, Omnisend, but you can get started with any that you feel most comfortable with. But in the meantime, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.